Welcome back, all my fellow football fans, to another episode of the Football Mundial podcast. We got a pretty busy episode today, so we'll get straight into it. Daniel Valdez, how you doing down there, bro?
Doing great, bro. Just excited to talk a little bit more about the sport we all like to watch.
Yeah, finally, club ball is back, right? I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the international break. I can't lie. I don't really like watching like Spain play Korspo and these random teams.
Yeah, I mean the tournaments are always fun, but not the like these international
Qualifiers
little
and
breaks. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we got the Euros coming up. That'll be fun for sure. Daniel Grijalva, how you doing, bro?
Doing good, bro. Ready to talk,
Yes, sir. Get the show on the road. So we'll go ahead and kick it off with a little bit of La Liga action. CI Liga, the league is closer than ever. We'll go ahead and follow that up with some Bundesliga action. Unfortunately, the title may be all but over. And last but not least, we'll finish it up with some Champions League. The game just wrapped up a couple hours ago, so we'll go ahead and cover all four of those games. So with that out the way, let's go ahead and get right into it. First game I wanted to cover for today was probably the biggest game that took place in La Liga this weekend. We got Sevilla hosting Atletico Madrid. And in Sevilla's last game, right, we saw they barely picked up a point. Last minute goal by Bono, of all people, coming out for the corner, coming out of his goal for the last second. And he's able to get that goal, right? But Atletico Madrid hasn't looked too well. They've dropped points in their last 6 out of the 10 league games now. So, they're not looking too hot, right? And unfortunately, they dropped points. I mean, unfortunately for Athletic fans, that is, they dropped points yet again.
Yeah, it's really it sucks to see. I mean, they were doing really well at the middle of the season, but I mean, and now you can kind of see like it's just their form has really dipped, and it looks like I don't know, it's in Barca's hands right now. They play them and Madrid, so it's all in Barca's hands right now, honestly.
No, yeah, I mean definitely they've been struggling and it doesn't look like they're picking up anytime soon. Um, Felix wasn't available; he didn't play this game, and they just kind of I don't know. Sevilla just looked like the better team the whole 90 minutes. They just completely outplayed them.
Yeah, one of the interesting things was Luke de Jong starting over Yusuf El Nasiri, who has cooled down a little bit. He had that hot streak going, but he was cooling down a little bit. So I guess I could see the thinking there. He was eventually subbed off, but the trouble started early for Atletico Madrid. Just in the 6th minute, Saul steps on Rakitic, and it's another penalty. Luckily for Atletico Madrid, Oblak saves that penalty. But when your goalie's saving a penalty and that's the highlight of your match, it didn't go too well, right? After about 70 minutes, the deadlock was finally broken. After some beautiful build-up, if you guys haven't seen it, 69th minute, funny enough, 69th minute, Sevilla just plays the ball a little bit on that right side and is able to get Navas in behind and fullback to fullback, right? Navas crosses it to Acuna, and Acuna smashes the header home. And other than that, Atletico really wasn't able to find any real scoring opportunities, right? I mean, there was the Hermoso one a couple minutes later.
Yeah, I mean, it's just from the beginning, it looked like Sevilla were like the better team overall. And I mean, throughout the game, it just, you could tell too that they were the better team. And it's great to see because they've been playing pretty well this season. I mean, they've had a few games, I mean, here and there, but I mean, I think they've played some really good football. Honestly.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Just going back to the penalty save. From what we've seen, I mean, I can the most recent memory I have of Oblak in penalties is the finals against Madrid, the Champions League final, and he just looked completely lost out there. Like he's, I don't really know him as a really good penalty stopper. I would say, I think he's a great keeper, but I don't think he's one of like a penalty expert. So that's what we talk about, those little crunch moments at this time of the season. You have your keeper stepping up, and it just doesn't seem to be enough. I mean, it's like the players aren't stepping up now. I mean, the keeper's doing his job at the end of the day. It's something like I said, it's not very characteristic of him, but I mean, he did it well. And then just touching on the penalty, Ocampos missing another penalty. Is that time maybe for a change? I remember the one against Barca in the semi.
Yep.
And luckily, it didn't cost him this game, but it's just one of those little things. And I don't know, just Atletico just doesn't seem to pick up in three-fourths of the field. It's not working out offensively for them.
I was
Yeah, all
wondering
this.
why Rakitic didn't take the penalty.
Yeah,
Since I
that's
mean,
exactly what I
yeah,
told my dad after he missed. I mean, he's
mhm,
the one that got it.
exactly.
That's one of the things that he's really good at, right? Those set pieces, the corners, the free kicks, the especially penalties. He's always been a solid penalty taker. And like you said, I think it might be time for Ocampos to step down. Maybe for a penalty or two. Eventually, he may come back, but I mean, it was like you said, it wasn't a great penalty. It's a pretty, as long as you dive in the right way, I think any goalie really stops that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are a couple huge things, like we said, for Atletico, right? They were what was it, 14 points with the game in hand and 11 in points with like 2 games in hand and one. They had a crazy lead, and there's never been a team in La Liga to blow a lead that big. And it looks like, I mean, in my opinion, this team looks like they're kind of crumbling in front of our eyes. They have crumbled in front of our eyes, to be completely honest with you. Barcelona is a point behind now. Real Madrid is a point behind now. I mean, Marcos Llorente is out the next game. Suarez is out the next game, both for suspension, but Suarez actually also got a muscle injury. So, he'll be out for 3 weeks. And in that time, let's see who they have. They have Betis next, like I said, Eibar and Huesca, which aren't bad games, but Athletic Club, right, away as well. So, I mean, 3 weeks, he would technically miss that match. Whether he 100% will, we don't really know. But, I mean, those are 2 games that are toss-ups, and that's not including Barcelona and Sociedad a couple weeks later. And things aren't looking good for Atletico right now.
Yeah, it's really crazy to see. Honestly, is they had like a really high point difference, and then it's just slowly,
Blown away.
it's just blown away. Yeah.
I mean, I would say the only thing kind of saving them right now, if they can get back into winning ways, is they do play the head to head against Barca. If they can somehow get those 3 points, I think they'll be able to
And
secure. But then again, you have to secure the other games as well.
And we do have to keep in mind that Atletico does currently hold the tiebreaker because they beat Barcelona earlier. So, I mean, realistically, all they need is a tie, and they can drop equal on them on points at the end of the season and still win the title, right? But Real Madrid has a tiebreaker over them. And personally, in my opinion, I think, this weekend's El Clásico may not necessarily decide the title, but I personally think the title race is now between those 2 teams. Not to say that Atletico doesn't have a chance, because I mean they're sitting in first, but like I previously said, they're kind of crumbling, and this El Clásico this weekend will put one of these teams in a position to keep chasing Atletico, and whoever wins will jump into first for at least a day.
Yeah. No, yeah, and I mean, like you said, they have Real Betis this weekend, so that's another huge game. I mean, Betis is a good team. They have some
So
special
sitting in
players like Fekir.
sixth.
Mm-hmm. And it's at Betis, and
Mm-hmm.
just looking at their schedule, like I said, they got Athletic away as well, and then Barca's away as well. So I mean, they have some huge games to be played. They just need to fight. They need to find that fire again, and it just seemed like that surprise that Llorente was costing down that right flank has disappeared. He's
Yeah.
kind of cooled off, and it's just kind of, I feel like teams just kind of found how to play defense against it.
Yeah, it's different when it's coming and you can kind of plan and
Mhm.
prepare for it, right? Compared to when earlier in the season nobody was expecting it from Llorente.
Yeah.
But I think with this game out of the way, we'll move into who some people may have as the title favorites. Seeing how they performed this weekend and how they performed midweek against Liverpool, right? Madrid hosts Eibar, and I've been pretty critical of Real Madrid and their performances over the past couple of weeks. Just kind of saying they don't create too much. It's just cross after cross, hold the ball, and not really too many great scoring opportunities, right? But this game was completely different, and I'm gonna put my hands up and be honest here. It starts off really early. Benzema almost gets gifted a goal, but with the little 3-back that they've been playing, and especially when Marcelo's on that left, and he doesn't have to worry about defensive duties, and it's just creativity. Madrid's flowing, and Vinny looked played really well actually. Benzema as well. The way he just creates space, he continues to do it. I really couldn't say too much bad about this Real Madrid performance, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it's just one of those matches where you don't know what you're gonna get from the opposition. Like, just we'll touch on the Barca game a little later, but Valladolid caused a lot of problems for them, and it's just sometimes they either defend really well against you or they kind of just break down, and it seemed to be the case with Eibar. They didn't seem to struggle too much. It really helped them to go right before halftime as well. I mean, go up 1-0 at half, and it just makes everything much easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Ibar didn't create too much. Like I said, this is just a solid performance from Real Madrid. Not much needs to be said about this. There is some news that we'll go ahead and cover a little bit later once we get into the Champions League. With some players being out for Madrid, but overall, it's a great performance for them. They currently sit in third place, only 2 points behind Barcelona and 3 points behind Atletico Madrid. So, like I said, they're completely back in the race. They could jump into second if they beat Barcelona. So, they're still competing.
Yeah, it's a big game for them.
Mm-hmm.
And missing some.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say they're gonna be missing some players for the Clasico as well. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a good game.
It's gonna be a really good game.
It's just as much as we maybe we don't like Madrid as much. They're one of those teams that just finds a way. So most of the time they find a way to win.
Especially at this point in the season, like I feel like springtime is Zidane time.
Mm-hmm. It's Black Magic time.
Black Magic time, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think to kind of go into Barcelona, who they'll be playing this weekend. They hosted Valladolid, and we didn't see any changes in the starting lineup. Frankie's still playing that libero role in the the central center back, but he'll kind of float into the midfield. And it wasn't a pretty good performance from Barcelona, to be completely honest. There was some good link up between Messi and Busquets, and overall Barcelona wasn't able to create those clear chances, score those clear chances. There was some controversial calls, the penalty around the 21st minute. Barcelona really needs to improve, at least based on that performance, right? But they've looked better in the past couple of weeks. They've looked a lot better in 2021.
Yeah, definitely they have looked better this year, especially Messi, honestly. Which I honestly thought, I mean, it's always Messi and we hold him to the highest standards, but I thought he had kind of a quiet game and it just kind of showed for Barca as well, and I mean, but I saw that Dembele also he missed a couple of chances as well, and it's just thankfully he got that last minute goal, and it's those crunch times, it's really honestly like the crunch time. I read that it was like the first 90-minute goal that Barca scored, and like I forgot since like maybe the Busquets one.
Mm-hmm.
I think against Valencia,
Piqué,
or I don't know.
Piqué scored in the Copa del Rey, or maybe La Liga changes. I mean,
yeah, it might have been in La Liga stuff. No, that's a huge goal for Dembele. He's been performing really well, right? Now that he's able to get a good run of games being fit, and I mean, what does that put him at now for goal tally? He's looking at 5 goals. It's kind of low actually for La Liga, but a lot of those goals have come recently. So
yeah, I mean, and we got to talk about his contract. Expires next year in 2022. I mean, it's one of the things that Barca are looking to see if they're gonna extend or maybe sell him. Who knows? So I mean, maybe that's a little another factor. Maybe why he's performing better or he's trying. But I personally, I saw the game. I wouldn't have been mad if Barca went down 1-0 in the first half.
They did not.
I did not like the first half at all. I think, I just think the 3 in the back was a little bit too defensive. Even though, like you said, it's De Jong who plays that central defender who kind of slips in. I just don't see. I don't know. Maybe against this team, Busquets and De Jong kind of pairing. I don't see it necessary. I feel like you can attack your man or just play more offensive. They look bad. I mean, they got saved by the post. There were some chances that the other team didn't really seem to know what to do at the final third. I remember I don't remember. I think it was the second half when Roque Mesa just kind of just slips in between everyone into the penalty box, and he just kind of just blows it up top over the bar.
Yeah.
But second half, he goes back to that 4-3-3, takes Busquets off, and it's just a completely dominated game by Barca. And luckily they like you said, it's those crunch times. It's you got to find a way to win, and that's what they did at the end of the day.
Yeah, a lot of it did come from that red card to Oscar Plano too. I don't. Let's be honest. I don't think that's a red. It was a really bad tackle. It was a dirty tackle, but it's one of those where it's a yellow, but it almost feels like almost in between, kind of, right? Like a green card or something. You know, and in indoor they have like a blue card or something. It was a really bad tackle, but I don't know if to go as far as a red card.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was a red card either.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's those things like when you look at in video or on the camera in slow motion, it looks worse than it actually is. You know, it's just one of those things. And I mean, I don't think Bar got into it, or I don't think they checked.
Yeah, I think it was a straight red actually.
Yeah, straight red. But I don't think they checked it, or did they? I didn't see like a possible check of not being or anything like that. It's just kind of.
I don't think so.
They like right away. I don't think it was the red.
I'm sure they were reviewing it. Like they looked at it, but maybe they just decided to go ahead with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the way this weekend kind of went, right? Sevilla beating Atletico, they can kind of stay in the race. I mean, they're currently sitting at 4th, 58 points, 8 points behind Atletico. They're not necessarily in the race, but as long as they can kind of hold on to their Champions League spot, which it looks like they will, I'm sure they'll be happy, and they've had a pretty good season. But with that out the way, Atletico, like I said, you know, they drop points yet again. Barca's just one point behind. Real Madrid 3 points behind going into the Clásico, and we have a little giveaway going on for that. Check out our Instagram. That'll probably be dropping either tonight or tomorrow. So go ahead and go look for that. But we're definitely going to go ahead and cover the Clásico, because, I mean, that could be a pretty title deciding match, right? We only got 9 games left.
Mm-hmm. Season's coming to
it's a huge game, and especially when I don't want to. I mean, obviously all the attention's on the Clásico this weekend, but that Betis Atletico game is going to be interesting as well.
That's very true.
Because you know Betis is one of those teams too that they can come out playing Barca, or they come out flat and they just straight lose it. You know, sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's one of those interesting teams. I like their squad is not the best, obviously, but they have some interesting players, and I mean, I'm pretty sure they can cause Atleti some trouble.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, this Clásico isn't necessarily, you know, gonna 100% decide the title, because Atletico is still in first, and there's still 9 games to be played. That's 27 points. But it could kind of extend the gap between second and third, and, you know, kind of keep it between a two-team title race. But like I said, you know, it's a long season. There's a lot of games to be played.
Yeah, I think it's more of a deciding factor for Real Madrid, to be honest. Because I mean, you know, you win that Clásico and you go to second place, or you lose it, Barca goes up 5
points.
And if there's any teams that can go 9-10 games unbeaten, it's Barca and Madrid. You know, it's one of those things. I just don't see Barca losing 2-3 games after that.
Yeah, so it would be difficult.
Yeah.
100%. So yeah, like I said, you know, week in, week out, we'll go ahead and cover this title race. 100% going to cover that Clásico in the next game. It's going to be one of our highlight games. But with La Liga out the way, we're going to go ahead and move into Bundesliga. The first game we wanted to cover is between 1 and 2, right? First and second place, Leipzig and RB Leipzig and Bayern Munich. Going into the game, Leipzig is second place, 4 points behind them. So this match could have been a determining factor, or was a determining factor on whether, you know, this title race is going to keep going or not, because it could either put them 1 point behind or 7 points behind, which in this case it puts them 7 points behind. And Nagelsmann's still searching for that first win versus Bayern with Leipzig. He had 3 ties, and, you know, now we add a loss to that. And to be completely honest with you, though, Leipzig looked good, especially early on in that game. They were bothering Bayern. They were, playing a super high press. You could hear the Bayern's defense. You could hear Lucas Hernandez yelling at players to drop, asking for help. But Leipzig's really struggling without that goal scorer, right? I mean, a lot of teams do when you don't have someone to put the ball in the back of the net. But without Timo Werner and Sorloth, who I think is like really their only nine, he hasn't really been performing. They don't have anyone to put the ball in the back of the net. They kind of have like a Man City dilemma, but with players not at that level, right? So do you guys think that a player like Brian Bobby, will be able to help out RB Leipzig next season? I mean, let's be honest, this title race is kind of out. It's kind of out the window, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Personally, yeah. I think I haven't seen too much of him, but I've heard I seen that he's joining RB for next season from Ajax, and he looks. I mean, he's a strong physical dude, and then most people who play at Ajax are technical, so I'm pretty sure he'll be a valuable asset. And he's young. He's has a lot to still learn, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he'll help him out. And just looking at their lineup here, it's just they play with Nkunku, Olmo, Hadaira, and Forsberg up top. Not a real nine. And then on the bench you have Poulsen, Sorloth, and Wayne Hang.
Yeah, but Hwang Hee-chan still has yet to even score a goal in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, so I mean, they do have three center forwards on the bench. I mean, so like you said, it goes back to just they're not performing. So you got to play kind of that false nine that that now.
Let's just be honest. They're not at the quality. They're not at that quality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, it is tough, and I feel like they have been affected by it this season, and I mean, Timo Werner is obviously not the same right now as he was at RB Leipzig. He was that goal scorer, and it just seems like RB Leipzig have that same problem that Germany has, who do have Timo Werner. It's just the level. He's not at the same level, but you see Germany producing amounts of midfielders, of just center backs. They have keepers, and it's just that nine. They're missing that nine ever since Klose left. They haven't been able to find that, and I feel like that's like their main problem, because you're looking at the stats and they've had more possession, but Bayern have more shots on goal and more chances created. It's just they were there. They just can't finish. They don't have that one guy to finish their chances.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the difference in I don't know if it's like a money wise thing or what, but Bayern are just different compared to all these teams in the Bundesliga, right? I mean, they're just like a way bigger club in a way, and not to like throw down on these other clubs, but it's just kind of the difference in squads that it's just like so much depth that they have, and they can like play longer, like more throughout these seasons, and still have a bunch of these players that are still going to come off the bench and be able to make differences. And a lot of the lower teams don't,
No, that's a good.
That's why they're always, I feel like, in a way, winning the league, maybe, because it's just the difference in squads.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. This is super hypothetical because I mean, obviously we all know that it didn't happen, but I think something that would have been really interesting was to see Haaland make the move from RB Salzburg to RB Leipzig, and how different this team could have or would have been, because that was a possibility when he was going to make his move. And to see this team with a player who can press and finish the way Haaland can, I mean, we all know Haaland's qualities. What he would bring to this team would be, I mean, I don't want to sit on it for too long because it's hypothetical, obviously, and he's on to some of the biggest clubs, and if not this season, next season. But that would have been nice, because they could have really challenged RB Leipzig, or I'm sorry, Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, it was I don't know what happened. I don't know if just Dortmund beat him to it, but I mean, you have like the South Korean Wang, he comes from Salzburg, so I mean, it's just one of those things. Who knows? Maybe they just
Soboslai also will be going next season.
So it's just, who knows? But I mean, it would, like you said, it's hypothetical, but it would have been really interesting. I feel like it would have been a lot different too.
Yeah, and it's finally someone to put in the goals for them. Honestly, that's probably an upgrade on Timo Werner. and this team would be completely different. But Bayern, when you're playing a press as high as Leipzig did, it's not gonna last, right? And as the half kind of went on, you could kind of see that Leipzig's press slowly got less
Slower.
group oriented and was more individual, right? Because the guys behind you aren't able to make every run you're gonna make, or don't want to make every run you're gonna make, and like you said, guys just tire out. And if you guys haven't seen Bayern's goal, go watch it. So it's about the 36 minutes. A beautiful goal. They're working with the high press. Leipzig's throwing players at them, and they just get out of it. And eventually, Kimmich picks up the ball, and Haidara fouls him, right? And in this same play, Kimmich puts the ball down, plays a 1-2 with Sule, looks up, he sees Mueller making that run, and he just plays a beautiful ball into him. Mueller chases it down, kind of does like a little Cruyff turn to cut back, sets up Goretzka for a beautiful goal, 1-0. And that about sealed the match, right? That's all Bayern needs. They just need that little goal to go ahead and just kind of make them a little bit more comfortable, and they just saw it out.
Mhm.
Yeah, you also gotta obviously they know the quality Bayern has. It's you gotta know the quality of the opposition. I mean, something like that might work better against, I don't know, like a Hertha or a Köln or a Schalke who's in last place right now. But you got Bayern. It's not gonna be perfect. Nothing's perfect, and like you said, they got out that one time, and it's just they're able to score.
Yeah, so unfortunately for RB Leipzig, like I said, they do drop now 7 points behind Bayern. Bayern currently sits at first with 64 points. Leipzig sitting in second at 57. And there was another little battle for for a position, right? We had Dortmund and Frankfurt, who also played on Saturday. And going into this game, Frankfurt's last win at Dortmund's home ground was back in 2010. So it's been quite some time, and they were able to pull this one off. This is kind of a similar situation, right? Frankfurt and Dortmund are both going up for that fourth position to secure a Champions League spot. And 4 points behind, a win could mean they're just 1 point behind Frankfurt for Dortmund. And a loss means, which ended up happening, they're now 7 points behind. And Frankfurt has to slip up 3 times in order for Dortmund to catch him. And at least one of those has to be a loss. So they can't be 3 ties. It has to be at least 2 ties and a loss. And how many games are left in the Bundesliga? 34, 7 games left. I mean, do we really see Frankfurt doing that? I think they secured that Champions League spot.
Yeah, it kind of sucks to see, honestly, because at least I was hoping Dortmund could at least get 1 point behind and then make it a little more interesting. And then I know they really need that Champions League spot. I mean, it's just you get more money, and it's just really helpful overall. And also players like Sancho and Haaland, are they going to stay or leave? I mean, it's just a big question right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't know if Frankfurt secures that fourth spot just yet. They do play Wolfsburg in their next match at 3 and 4th. Then they have Gladbach, who's obviously not been doing too good, and probably the other hardest game is Leverkusen. Other than that, I'm pretty sure they're able to win the other games. But yeah, it was a great opportunity for Dortmund. I don't think it's over just yet, but like Danny was saying, if they're not able to secure that, I don't think some players will want to stay, such as Sancho, Haaland, obviously the obvious ones. And it's hard to recruit players. It's hard to get quality players when you're not in those Champions League spots. So some players want to play in those kind of competitions. So you're not only getting rid of probably your best talents, but it's hard to bring talent in. So I mean, we'll see how it ends. Well, they'll probably just reorganize during the summer again with their new coach coming in and see where that goes. But it was a huge opportunity that they lost this weekend to get closer to their spot, that 4th spot.
Yeah, like you said, those higher level players, they want to play in the highest level tournaments, and there's a pretty big level difference between the Champions League and the Europa League, right? You're playing. Look at the Europa League this year. The best teams are what, maybe like a Milan. United dropped down, so does it technically count? But I think Milan was probably maybe the strongest team to start off this tournament. And look at the Champions League. I mean, obviously, you're going to have your Bayern Munich, Barca, Dortmunds, and that's who those better, younger players want to play against. So yeah, Kostic really. Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up, like you said, those guys don't want to play in the Europa League. I mean, Emre Can literally came out and said that he doesn't want to play in that tournament, and I mean, I'm sure everyone else on his team feels that way. But if you're gonna say that, you got to come out because this was said before the Frankfurt game. So I mean, these guys
Hmm.
have to come out and perform. You can't just say and you can't just want to play in the Champions League. I think this is more on Dortmund as a whole, as a collective, like from the board down. They might need to be a bit smarter with the recruitment. You look at their team, and they have all these. They have Gio Reyna. I can't even think of anybody else. They have all these
Royce Brandt.
attacking. Yeah, Royce, Brand. They have all these attacking mids. Like, where are you gonna play? How do you fit them all in? And when they're not playing and when they're not in form, those guys aren't gonna get goals all the time. They're not gonna come in and just score a goal. That's not the type of players they are. So maybe something needs to be done with Dortmund. Hopefully, like you said, once the new coach comes in, who's there?
I think it's what's his name? I forgot. It's Edin Terzic. Terzic is their coach
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
Tejic right now, and he hasn't really done much to improve the team, unfortunately. So I think personally, I said I think Dortmund's out of the Champions League. You guys don't, but we'll go ahead and keep following that week in, week out, like I said. But I
Yeah,
think with that, we'll go ahead and go ahead.
I just think their gamble hasn't paid off. I think it was like 2 summers ago. When they bought Hazard, Brandt, some of the other players from the Bundesliga, trying to, I don't know, say copy what Bayern does, but kind of take talent from the Bundesliga and bring them in. And I don't think they performed to the level they expected. And like you said, I mean, the thing is, you have all those mids, and yet you have that killer up top, and it's just not working out. It seems nothing's working right now for them. So we'll see. But I mean, definitely comparing squad to squad, I think they do have a better squad than Frankfurt and Wolfsburg. So it would be a pretty big shame not to see them in the Champions League.
Yep, 100%. But sometimes those better systems and better setup teams
Hmm.
will outbeat the firepower. So,
Yeah.
will that happen? It looks like it for now, but we'll go ahead and keep you guys updated with that. But we'll go ahead and move into the Champions League now. The first match being Real Madrid versus Liverpool. This was kind of a match that we wanted to look into. It was one of the closer ones with two former champions. But big news before the match even starts: Varane is out with COVID for not only this game but the Clásico too. That's a huge loss because I mean Ramos is also out. This is the first time they've played without those two in a Champions League game since 2016. So
Yeah,
No, definitely.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Go ahead,
go
Dak.
ahead, bro. All right. I mean, before the game, right before Brain was notified that he was going to be out, I was wondering myself. I mean, it's time for Brain to step up, honestly, because it seems like every time he plays without Ramos, I mean, he kind of, not always, but I mean, he does have some bad games, and it was a big question. Like, is he going to perform tonight? And it kind of sucks to see. I mean, right before the game, we see that he was out, and I mean, they did fine without them both, and it was a really good game from them. Honestly, I really liked it. Honestly, they played really, really good.
Mm. No, yeah, definitely. I thought missing. I kind of knew the Ramos one. Remember, I assumed that he was injured. I had heard something like that,
yeah.
and then the Varane was unexpected. It was before the game, so it was just wondering because Militao hasn't really showed too much either since arriving there,
Yeah.
and it was a big question. Fernandez, Nacho is kind of just you plug him in. He plugs in the holes. I mean, he does his job, but they
Mhm.
perform really well. I mean, I feel like um, Liverpool's front three didn't really do much, especially the number nine Jota or
Jota.
Firmino when he went in. Yeah, I
Mhm.
feel like they didn't cause too much problems for them either. But it was just another night of Madrid being Madrid in Champions League. It's
Yeah.
just they seem they perform well. I honestly have no really bad takes or any bad points to point anything to point out. Even Vasquez who was playing
Yeah.
that right back played. I thought he had an excellent game, and it was just like everyone was clicking. Everyone was clicking. Liverpool just seemed lost, especially in that first half. Throughout the whole game, actually, to be honest, but it was just I didn't think it was gonna go that way, to be honest.
Yeah, I had a few, like, I guess one of the main things I thought going into this game was that Real Madrid was going to play the 3-back, right? Because they've been implementing it in a couple games. So I was curious to see if they're going to bring that out, and I thought they were. I wasn't ruling out the 4-3-3, but I did think that the 3-back would come into place. And when I heard that Varane was injured, my immediate thought was, does that change it? Are they going to still come out with the 3-back? It was hard to picture who would play. I guess it could have been Militao, Fernandez, or Nacho and Mendy. And then I guess maybe Marcelo out wide. It doesn't matter too much because it didn't happen. But that was one of my main concerns. And the second was when I saw Liverpool's lineup. I saw Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and Keita. And the first thing that comes to my mind is no Thiago. And when I kind of asked myself, like, what's the reasoning for that? I thought that Liverpool would come out and really, really want to press the hell out of Madrid. And in the last game in the last Champions League fixtures that we saw, Real Madrid played Atalanta, and in my opinion, they dealt with that press very well. But part of it was, I think, because Kroos and Modric had to play so deep, right? I think we kind of mentioned that in the last Champions League preview. But now with Casemiro, I wanted to see if he would be able to deal with the press, and unfortunately, it looked like it never really came from Liverpool. I mean, if you look at the times Real Madrid's midfielders had the ball, they had 3, 4, 5 seconds to look up, take a touch, pick out a pass. I mean, let's look at the first goal, for example, right? Beautiful chef kiss goal from Toni Kroos to Vinicius, who takes a beautiful touch with his chest. It was a superb goal, but there's no pressure on Toni Kroos. And I mean, multiple times in the first half, he was able to pick up the ball, look up, pick his pass. And if there's one player you don't want to do that in the world right now, it's probably him. His ability to pick out a long ball. Yeah. Their abilities to pick out a long ball is probably second to none in this world, with his right or left, right? And we even saw that in the second goal too. Cruz had so much time to pick out that pass, and unfortunately, Trent heads it to Vinicius. But I was kind of disappointed in Liverpool. I think they may have gave Madrid a lot of respect, and it seemed they just kind of came out scared.
Yeah, I was really surprised by their lineup too, especially like you said, the Keita on for Thiago.
Mm-hmm.
I had doubts too about Fabinho. I didn't know if he was gonna play where he did at the CDM position, or he could have played center back. The center backs didn't have too much of a bad game. I mean, I don't really blame him for much. I feel like Phillips probably had a little better game than Kabak,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I don't get that agenda that Thiago slows Liverpool down. I kind of don't get it. But even like you substitute him for Keita, who's hasn't played 1,000 minutes this season.
Yeah.
He hasn't been too good. It's just one of those things that you kind of just wonder. I mean, I'm pretty sure Klopp knows why he did that, but like you said, it's kind of disappointing that just Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric just it was like they were playing by themselves in that midfield. It looked like they were playing by themselves, and just Wijnaldum had a horrible game. Fabinho was probably
terrible,
the better of the three. And you kind of see Klopp making up for his mistake, taking out Keita at the 42nd minute. I don't know how I feel about that. I remember I was watching it, and I could have thought he could have waited for halftime, and it's just one of those things. I mean, Mane was probably the best out of the front three. Salah did get the goal, but even Salah in the first half was he wasn't there. I didn't even know he was playing. It was just kind of those things, silly mistakes, some that led to goals, some others that didn't. Like you had the cutback pass back to Alisson, which what was it, Asensio, I think, takes it. Yeah, and luckily for them, he shoots with his right, and Alisson's able to take it to block it. But it's just really, really silly mistakes at this stage from a team that you don't expect it, because they are experiencing this kind of stage.
Yeah, and when you brought up that Keita, Naby Keita point that he hasn't even played 1,000 minutes, I kind of just wanted to go through his games to see when, he played good, important minutes in a good match. I meant something. And, I mean, he played Wolves 23 minutes, 18 minutes against Leipzig, 90 minutes against Fulham, they lose, nothing against Chelsea, 10 against Liverpool, none against Everton, 10 against Sheffield United, none against Everton. He's playing, he hasn't really played any big matches. I mean, he didn't play the Tottenham game. He comes in and he plays 10, 15, 20 minutes. and it's just very weird. Like you said, for Klopp to put the trust in him and start him against Real Madrid, a club with all this Champions League history. Um, it's one of those things where you just put your hands up and you kind of ask why. Like you said, Klopp probably knows better, but um, like we said, this is a great performance from Real Madrid, and this is 2 consecutive games that they look really good going in, and they're going into the Clásico, which is, this could be one of the biggest games of their season to put them into the La Liga race. And I think Asensio and Vinicius are hitting their strides at the perfect time. Couldn't ask for a better time for those two to step up.
Yeah, Vinicius follows up his good
Yeah.
performance from the weekend with 2 goals last night. Asensio, I think, had his 4th consecutive game scoring. Benzema putting a good show as always. It's just, especially, we've been critical of Vinicius for his finishing, and he took his chances. He had one header which went a little bit wide. I mean, you can't ask him to score everything either, but he took his chances well. That first goal, amazing control, excellent finish. His second goal, I think, I mean, it's too much to ask maybe for Allison. He does get a touch on it. It's not right on the post, but it's a hard shot, and it's just like you said, they're hitting their stride. They're playing well. And I mean, that midfield especially, I love the Modric Kroos combination. I feel like we could probably put someone better than Casemiro right there, but those other two.
I mean, he suits them. He suits what they need.
Yeah.
He drives and tackles and does all that annoying shit.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, excellent performance, and it's just Liverpool. I don't know. A lot of doubts from them. I don't know if they'll come back, to be honest. I had my money on them, but I don't know.
All they need is 2 goals, right, to win?
Yeah, but they would have to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, keep it clean sheet. 2-0.
If they only scored 2. Yeah. As soon as Madrid gets 1, then they'll need 3. If Madrid gets 1, that is.
And it's just like, I don't know, I hate touching on that point because it's the same point, but you have like Keita, and then, like you said, if you want to press, we have Milner, who, when I look at their training video, that's the guy who runs the most, the most athletic, fit person. Or you have Jones, the youngster who's played a lot this season, and he brings that energy, he's dynamic. So I kind of don't get that white Keita, but who knows? We'll see for the second leg.
Yeah, 100%. That second leg will take place on April 14th. So what is that, next week actually? So we'll go ahead and see who the winner of that one is. But the other game from Tuesday, Man City hosting Borussia Dortmund, and this is a pretty controversial game, to keep it, just 100. City won the game 2-1, but there's the Jude Bellingham, what was called a foul. What did you guys think? You guys think that's a foul? I mean, I guess you could say maybe it studs up, but
personally, I mean, it is studs up, but he does get the ball first, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he hits him, right? I'm pretty sure, like, when he swings Ederson, he ends up hitting him.
Ederson kicks Bellingham.
Yeah, does he? Does he end up kicking him?
He does. Yeah.
But even then, I think he wins the ball cleanly. And I mean, you have VAR, so I don't know. I thought it was a goal, to be honest. I think it should have counted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the way, yeah, I guess we could all kind of agree on that one then. Doesn't help him any, but
yeah.
Unfortunately, Chan, like for the first goal, he just kind of gives the ball up, and KDB leads that counter, and he's actually the one who puts it home for 1-0. But City did have a couple chances that they should be putting away, and I guess against a better opponent, this tie's not over by any means. I'm not saying that it's over, but against a Real Madrid, against a Bayern Munich, if you're not putting those chances away, it's not going to be as simple of a game as it could have, or it was against Dortmund, right? Not like this game was easy by any means, but
it looked like honest. Go ahead, bro.
No, I'm just saying, it just kind of seemed like they came out with a little bit overconfident, just kind of thinking it was theirs. Like you said, that the one that comes to mind is that Phil Foden chance that I think the keeper blocks. I mean, he should be putting that away.
He should put that away.
And sometimes it just didn't look like they were at 100 miles per hour. It just seems like they were kind of a little bit slower. But
I think we've kind of seen that in some of the bigger games that City and Pep have come out again, though, right? The The one that immediately comes to mind was the Manchester Derby. That game was super boring, and I feel like they just kind of try to drag it out. I don't know what the intent is. I don't know if they're trying to pull out the other team, but I don't know.
Yeah, but going back to, I thought honestly it was a lot of Man City in the first half and Dortmund in the second half, and it was kind
Yeah,
of
Dortmund looked
nice
better.
to see. They looked really good in the second half, and they had a few chances where I thought maybe damn, like they might actually be like in this tie the whole way through, and they might even win today. But I mean, they
Mhm.
were just unlucky, honestly.
Yeah, I mean they did get the away goal, right? So
Yeah, there we go.
that could come back. I mean if they can somehow keep City to a 1-0, if they can get a 1-0 win, somehow. But I I don't know, man. Manchester City's a just a unit, and if they didn't necessarily perform as good as we think they could in this game, I think this next game they'll make the adjustments that they need to. Um, and I think they might put City, or I'm sorry, they might put Borussia Dortmund away kind of early.
Yeah, yeah. I think if they come out with the right mentality, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for them. They did get lucky. Let's be honest. They got lucky with that 90th minute goal. I
Yeah,
mean, you Dortmund's able to, if they're able to contain them and keep it 1-1. I mean, they have the lead going back home. It's just one of those things that Dortmund has seemed to be lacking. I can't remember. I don't remember if it was against Sevilla, conceded like a last minute goal as well. I mean, I think the tie was over, but I mean, still, it's one of those little things. Just you gotta sharpen up in those last moments. And I mean, a 1-1 would have been a great result for Dortmund.
yeah,
And like you said, I mean, they only need a 1-0. The problem is, can you keep City from scoring for 90 minutes? But if they can come out and get an early goal, I think it's pretty much over. But I thought it would be over by the first leg, and it just goes to show, the Champions League it's just special nights.
yeah. How about you want to go ahead and introduce to the next game?
Yeah. So today, Wednesday. What's today? I don't
April
even know
7th.
what today is. April 7th. Oh yeah, 4/7. Chelsea played Porto in Sevilla Stadium. It was a good game. Honestly, I thought Sevilla looked like the better team in the first half, and they were really attacking. And they
Porto.
had, I mean,
Chelsea or
not
Porto?
yeah, Porto, my bad, not Sevilla.
Sevilla's the home team.
Yeah, the home stadium, but yeah, it just looked like they were really the better team for me in the first half, and I mean, it was just weird to see, honestly, but it looked like Chelsea were just kind of sitting back a lot, and they did have the ball like a good amount, but it just looked really defensive from them, honestly.
Yeah, that's it's kind of a funny thing, right? That both teams are playing in the same stadium and they still have the away goal rule. I mean Chelsea now has 2 away goals, so it's just like a weird thing. But like you said, yeah, I mean Chelsea. I think in the whole game they just kind of look to hold, especially in the first half. They just look to hold the ball, and I think they had one shot. I think Mount's shot in the first half was the only one that they had in that half at least. But that's a superb turn from Mount. He picks his corner and he finishes it into the bottom corner, and he's been a player that we've all kind of looked at and praised this season, and that's exactly why he just needs that moment, right? He just needs a couple seconds to do what he has to do, and he puts the ball in the back of the net, and he puts Chelsea up 1-0. And ultimately in these games, like, the score is all that matters, right? Would you want the team to look a bit better? Yeah, sure. But I don't know if Porto can come back from this 2-0, especially with these two goals being away goals. I mean, that's huge.
I find it really, really difficult. I think, like we said before, Chelsea, this tie about Chelsea, like you said, they weren't they weren't on the attack too much. They had the second leg is gonna be exactly kind of the same. Chelsea with the
Yeah,
ball.
super
I
dead.
mean, I just don't see Porto taking the ball away from them, even though they're down and they need to. But I mean, it was a great run. It's a great run by Porto. I don't want to say it's over because it's not, obviously, but I just feel like they can pull this one through. We're still waiting for Havertz and Werner to show what they can do, like they have
Hmm.
shown it in, at least in the Bundesliga last season. But overall, just a well performance. getting back from that 5-2 loss on the weekend, which
Yeah.
is let's not talk about that one right now, but it's get back on track and it's just keep moving.
And one of the
I mean,
big things that you got to look at is Porto did this without Oliveira, who, like we said, previously, that's probably, I mean, you can, could be considered their best player. And they also did it without Taremi, right? Those are two of their best players. Like, Taremi has what? Currently has 9 goals, 6 assists in the Primera Liga. He's one of the top scorers up there. So those two big losses, and they performed well. And I think as a Porto fan, you got to be heartbroken. Like the performance, like I said, without those two key players and the way Chelsea kind of came out and really didn't create too much. They just kind of held the ball, especially in that first half. In the second half, Porto looked a lot better, possession wise. But, that last minute Tecatito error just is like a punch in the gut, right? Because 1-0, you kind of still have a chance. A goal can be pulled at any second, but to go down just 2 goals in going into the second leg, it's a lot rougher.
No,
Yeah,
especially when it's one of your best players. They being one of their best players, just kind of committing. We're talking about moments here. That's what that separates greatness from from failure, and it's just a bad goal, an easy control that he would make any day, and it costs you, like you said. I mean, a 1-0 is not that bad. You can pull it off from a set piece, from something. You can pull a goal, something like that, out of nowhere. But when you're missing two of your best players, and then one of your other best players commits that kind of error, it is kind of sad to see, especially at this stage in the competition.
Yep.
I wanted to point out how I saw that Jorginho got man of the match, and I mean it's great to see him get praise, and I love that. But I thought honestly Mendy had a really great game today. He made a really couple of good saves that really stuck out to me. Honestly, I thought he just honestly my man of the match.
I mean, speaking of saves and good goalkeeper performances, that might be the perfect transition into to the next game, right? I mean, we have Bayern Munich hosting Paris Saint-Germain, and man of the match, may have gone to probably Kylian Mbappe. I mean, looking here at Keylor Navas's stats, the guy pulled off 10 saves. Looking at the game, right? Bayern Munich really kind of dominated, and PSG's game plan was really clear. It was just to hit them on the counter, and I think when they scored their third goal, I think they only had like 4 shots, right? 4 shots, 3 goals. Like that's some FIFA stuff. And looking at Bayern Munich, looking at their stats, they got 31 shots, 26 chances created, and 6 of those are big chances. Their XG is pretty high, and but when you have like the attacking threat of Neymar and Mbappe, I mean, and you add to that, Di Maria, and there's more quality on that team, of course, but when you have those two leading the charges, especially on your counterattack, and I mean, what did we say was Bayern Munich's biggest issue? It's been that defense, right?
Yeah. And just, I mean, we were talking about it in the last episode where we were talking about Neymar coming back, and I mean, right away he proves it. I mean, he creates the first 2 goals, and it's just beautiful to see. Honestly, I love Neymar. He's a great player, and we just knew he was going to make that difference for PSG.
Dude, that second assist was sick with his left too.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a practical team. It's I don't want to say classical Pochettino team, but we're kind of used to seeing this at his Spurs day, playing bigger opposition. I'm not saying that Bayern have a way better squad than Paris, but when Spurs would face the Man City, it's kind of what we saw. Just kind of sit back and get them on the counters. I do believe that Bayern should have won this game. I wouldn't have been upset if Bayern won it. Obviously we saw they're missing Choupo-Moting and Gnabry, who's out for COVID too. Oh, Lewandowski, and Gnabry's out, and it's just Coleman. I really think stood out to me as well too. He had a great game. Sani, I think, could have done a little better, but it's just I didn't really like. I was surprised seeing Hernandez start at that left back position, and that's the things that these players kind of give you. That flexibility. Goretzka comes off in the first half. I'm not sure if that was just a tactical sub or an injury. Pretty sure. I mean, 33rd minute is kind of weird, but
Yeah,
you
I'll look
kind of
into it.
move. You get
I
Alfonso
think
Davis in there, and then
I don't think he was injured though.
I don't think so. He looked fine coming off.
Yeah, I think he
It
was
says
like
Flick
a tactical
confirms
sub.
Goretzka and Sule suffered muscle injuries. I mean, he looked kind of
Oh.
like he was making a weird face when he's coming off.
Yeah, but I think that really kind of helped them. I'm not. I mean, obviously Goretzka is a great player, but it didn't seem to really affect them when Davis comes in. Hernandez moves to that center back spot, and
Yeah.
Alaba goes into that middle of the pitch. Especially that the Alaba, great baller. You know, he can play anywhere on the field.
Mhm.
I thought it was a great game. Just PSG was really practical. I mean, I don't want to put too much on Neuer on the goal, but he does have some responsibility. I feel like he
Okay,
tries to
so
anticipate. He tries to anticipate that he's gonna go across, and he just kind of just bottles
oh,
it.
the third one.
The first one,
Oh, okay.
because
Yeah,
like his
that.
movement looks like sideways and like it's
Yeah.
weird. But I mean, like like I saw your tweet. If that was Ter Stegen, Germany would have been exploding.
Oh, yeah. They'd
Um,
be on his
Yeah,
ass.
yeah. But I don't know. It's just that's the things you kind of want to see. I mean, from especially Paris fans who kind of have those demons as well too. Of not showing up,
Yeah.
bottling leads, which they kind of did. But that's what you're gonna see. Mbappe another great game, just crazy speed. Clinical. The third goal was crazy. It was a great goal. The third
That's
goal, to be
yeah.
honest.
That's a good.
that was a
That was a kind of
ridiculous
fast
goal.
counter.
The way he like waits, and he gets Neuer leaning. Like Neuer will take he looks up, he sees Neuer take a step. The
Mhm.
second he takes that step, he rips it to the first post, and like Neuer has no chance to save that.
Yeah,
And it's like
they're going
he
opposite.
fakes a little, like he fakes the shot, and
Like
that's
he's gonna
when
curl.
Boateng
Yeah,
opens his leg too, and that he
yeah,
just
yeah,
puts it right through his legs. It's crazy. I mean, baller
yeah. The
Neymar
ins.
again. I feel like Neymar didn't get enough fouls called going his way.
Mhm.
I feel like they did really kick him a little bit too much this game. I feel like he should
I
have
think
gotten
that's.
more calls.
I think I
But
actually tweeted that. I don't know if I actually tweeted it, but I definitely typed it. Like Neymar, I think the reputation that he brings to himself, and the way he plays, like kind of not teasing players, but he beats
Mhm.
someone and he'll come back and beat him again, right? Um, I think because of that, like refs are kind of hesitant to call when players kick him, even though it's still a foul. Regard, it doesn't matter. I mean, look at how
Mhm.
players. I feel like every other player in the world is drawing more fouls than ever before. Like they get touched on the ankle and like you just fall and you'll get the foul. But it's
Mhm.
because I think because it's Neymar, it's a different case.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
kind of
it
brought it on
just
himself, but
yeah, he just has that like diver reputation now, and it kind of sucks to see. I mean, at times, yeah, he does throw himself a little bit, but I mean, he gets hits a lot. He gets hit a lot, and it's just, I mean, those fouls need to be called on because over time, it gets to you. I mean, look at Hazard. He was fouled a lot in the Premier League, and I don't
Mhm.
know. I mean, yeah, he's overweight too, so that might be a little problem. But I mean,
Yeah.
over
yeah.
time, I know that really affects you.
I think Mueller really had a good game as well.
Hmm.
I feel like obviously the absence of Robert Lewandowski was huge. I feel like he would have put at least one or two of the chances they had away. Um, Kimmich had another good game. I
Oh
thought he was
yeah.
excellent, just
Yeah,
straight out baller. And honestly, I was expecting I don't know, I was expecting a little bit more even match, to be honest. But
Yeah.
Bayern I love the way Bayern played today.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think looking at the way PSG set up, there's nothing brilliant about it. There's nothing special about it. But I mean, to be completely honest, the way the teams match up, I think PSG is like the perfect counter for Bayern Munich. PSG doesn't have the best defense. Especially, I mean, Marquinhos was subbed off an injury too right after his goal, unfortunately. And I mean, he's kind of like the quarterback of defense. He's their leader back there. He's the captain. And when he went out, I was kind of worried for them. It was 2-0 at that point, and one of my concerns is, are they going to be able to? I mean, keep a shutout. I don't know if they would have kept the shutout with him in there just because of the amount of opportunities that Bayern Munich had. But when you don't have one, that's an even bigger loss. I mean, luckily for them, Navas was on one. I mean, almost a man of the
yeah,
match performance. If Bayern doesn't have 30 shots on target, I mean, that's a man of the match performance from him.
yeah.
No,
Honestly, he
yeah,
was really
definitely.
great.
And they struggled a lot in the air, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Paris,
mean,
I feel like
both
they
goals,
struggled.
First two
Yeah,
goals.
both
Mhm.
goals. They struggled a lot. It just I don't know if they were doing zonal markings or what it was, or if their man to man just wasn't good enough.
I hate
But I
when
mean,
they do
something to
zone
work on.
marking.
Yeah, but yeah, you look at Paris's team, and it looked like most like at least in the defense side of it, it's just all muscle. You have Kimbembe, who's technical. I'm not gonna say he's not, but Diallo, Pereira, what's his name? Gana Gay in the
Yeah.
middle. It's all muscle. It's kind of just doing the dirty work. It's not a lot
Hmm.
of soccer, not a lot of football being played, but like it's excellent.
Yeah, it worked out. I mean, it worked out in PSG's favor perfectly. It doesn't hurt when you have Mbappe going on the counter, especially against this Bayern Munich team. Like we said, they have the defensive fragilities. I mean, not only in the Champions League but in the league too. But the two teams meet again on Tuesday, April 13th. I think that's a game that's circled on every single soccer fan's calendar. Considering how like fun this last game was to watch, 2-3, tons of chances. Watching just Neymar and Mbappe just go on that break, and Bayern Munich play some great football. Their combination play, the link up, the 1-2s they play. It's brilliant stuff, man. Brilliant. But I mean, that's what we love, right? Football is back. Football is back. Club football is back, which we all really needed. And this was kind of a jam-packed week. I mean, look how much we
Yeah.
covered. It was
Yeah, I
definitely a
mean
fun
this
episode,
is
man. It
what
was
we
a
like.
fun week. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, there's stuff that we
and
didn't even cover. The Copa del Rey final, which is technically from the 2019-2020 season, between the two Basque teams, first time ever that we have an all Basque Copa del Rey final, between Athletic Club and Real Sociedad, and Real Sociedad was able to pull out with the 1-0. I think definitely deserving. If you haven't seen the Alguacil video, to some people it was a bit corny, but when you understand the guy's background and his history with the club, when you see him put the jersey on, it's screaming. I mean, he's probably one of the club's biggest fans, to be completely honest.
oh, yeah, especially when it's your first trophy in 34 years. It's you get
Yeah,
it. Someone like we get excited, and we're not even fans of the club. Imagine him who's been at that club his whole life, who's been a fan. It's just
yeah,
one of those things
exactly.
that football gives you.
Yeah, the guy was I have it here. He's a player. He played for them. I think it was over about 100, maybe like 100 games. He was also the Juvenil coach, which is the U19s. He then became the Sanse assistant coach, which is Real Sociedad's B team. And then a little bit after that, he became the head coach of the B team for over 100 games. And he actually never really wanted to become the first team coach. The first time it was presented, there was only nine games left in the season, and they had just fired. I don't remember exactly who the head coach was, but he said, "Yeah, sure, I'll step in." But he kept his
David Moyes, maybe.
promises. Maybe it might have been. I think it was a bit after. I think it was Eusebio
uh,
actually.
oh,
He was
okay,
like a
okay,
Barcelona coach.
yeah.
But after those 9 games, he said that he'd return to Sanse, the Real Sociedad B team, and I mean he kept his promise. He went back, and then the job opens again 6 months later, and he's supposed to take place as the caretaker. And I mean he just did such a good job that they give him the job, right? And I mean look at where they were at the beginning of the season. There was a point in time where they were sitting first place, and um,
Mhm.
the way
Yeah,
he's kind
and I
of
mean they
transformed
they
Real
played
Sociedad is beautiful.
they play great football too. I mean their style is really really nice to see. It's pleasant to watch, and it's
Beautiful.
giving some players, I don't know if I would say justice, but I mean that at least it's giving the opportunity to play with for the national team. You have
Yeah,
Oyarzábal, who's been with the national team. Merino, who I don't think he
Merino.
hasn't been, but he's been playing excellent. He's brought some players back to their level. Some experienced players like Nacho Monreal.
Mhm.
Obviously, David Silva was a big transfer for them this for this upcoming season.
Odegaard
It's great
last
to
year.
see. Odegaard, yeah, who was almost came back on loan this year. Chose
Yeah,
Arsenal over them at the end, but I Isaac is playing great there too.
yeah,
Isaac,
Isaac's playing great this year.
so it's great for them, to be honest.
Yeah, it's funny enough because they actually played today, but they drew 1-1. It was in La Liga though. Yeah, but I think with that we can kind of wrap up this week's video. But for next week we're gonna have some big games coming this weekend that we'll be covering next week, right? The first being Real Madrid versus Barcelona. There's also some other great matches though. You got Frankfurt versus Wolfsburg, like we talked about. It's 3-4. Stuttgart Dortmund is a good one as well. Atletico Betis, like we already mentioned. So there's some good matches that are gonna push the title a certain way.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend, honestly. Excited to see the scores.
Crunch time for all the teams. Some great matchups. To take a little look at City's schedule. City has a nice schedule coming up too.
Yeah, Man City.
Yeah. I was just looking at it right now.
Leeds. That's gonna be a fun one. Oh yeah, Leeds, Dortmund, Chelsea, Villa, Tottenham.
It's again telling you they had a good run of games for them too.
They're in all 4 competitions, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think is the Tottenham one the Carabao Cup or no?
Tottenham is Carabao, yeah, and then Chelsea is FA.
Okay.
What is FA? Is that semis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is that? Quadruple? Anyone the quadruple?
Quadruple.
Let's see.
Hopefully, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty, but is there anything else you guys want to touch on? I'm trying to think of any other news.
No, just probably the Ramos injury. He's out for a couple of weeks. And the Suarez out for another couple of weeks.
Yeah. Ramos and Varane out. Yeah, I think that's pretty much most of the news though. Yeah, well, this is a really fun episode. We covered a lot. But that's what we do. Watch the games, let you guys know what happens. Like I said though, be sure to check out our Instagram, footy FOOTY_Mundial. Giveaway will be posted within a day or two. So yeah, I think with that, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe on whichever platform you're on. Please leave us a like. Go ahead and comment if you have anything you wanted to say or touch on. And yeah, with that, thanks everyone for watching and have a good one, boys.
Later, guys. Have a good one.